Hello and welcome to the Premier Destiny Q&A live session. We hold this on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, I'm very delighted to have you join us as we take yet another interesting question today. And greetings from Paul. He's not able to join us today, but I believe we'll have a great time together. Okay, as we take this question from Randy in Washington, D.C., right here in the D.C. metro area. So, for some of you who may not know, Paul and I are from Premier Destiny, and our goal and our desire is to inspire, okay, to inspire, to encourage, to support ambitious professionals, business owners alike, to go from the ordinary to the extraordinary, okay? Because we believe that life is abundant and everyone deserves to experience success, prosperity at the extraordinary level and have fun while doing that, okay? So again, welcome to this Q&A live. We have an interesting question from Randy. Randy, like I said, is from the DC area, and his question has some, some poetic or musical tones to it, if I may say. He says, networking scares me a bit. How do I mingle without the jingle of nerves? Interesting question, right? How do I mingle without the jingle of nerves? For some people, when they hear networking, immediately tense up. They're like, oh my goodness, how do I deal with the crowd? How do I get dressed? What do I say? All those thoughts run through their minds. But we're going to share with you some strategies, um, some conversation starters, some things to avoid, and hopefully you'll be feeling more comfortable. You'll be excited if you have to attend a networking event. All right. So let's get started, right? Networking is really essential, especially for personal growth, for business also. So it's not just in your community or personal life. If you're in business, you really need to network. You need to make those connections. It's not just about knowing or learning about other people, but it also gives you the opportunity for people to know who you are, what you provide, what value do you bring to the table, to the community, to the industry, to the business, right? So making those connections is very crucial. It's very, very crucial for success. All right. Remember, it's not just about you, but it's who knows you also. It's not just about you knowing people, but who knows you. Okay. All right. So let's start by giving some strategies. Okay. I'm going to be sharing with you some strategies and some tips to help you, Randy, and all of our viewers today to be able to feel confident if you have to attend a networking event, okay, to the point where you start hosting yours as well. All right. So my first take is start with smaller events. Okay. Sometimes maybe because of our jobs or what we do in life, we could be invited to these big events of thousands of people, and immediately that fear or that um comfort level is not there. Sometimes it's simply because we haven't been exposed to such events before, and we get kind of intimidated. It could be intimidating, huge crowds of mostly strangers, maybe sometimes, and it could be overwhelming. So start with smaller events, to smaller gatherings, maybe those that you gatherings of people you know already, your sphere of influence in your community, or even if it's in your industry, your company, your business. Start with smaller events. Okay, it could be just some Zoom events or small gatherings in your neighborhood or in your company, like social what do you call it, short time, or there's a special name for it, happy hours, right? Companies used to have happy hours, but Start small, okay? Because starting small, you have a smaller group, more intimate group, you can feel a little bit more at ease, all right? And then you can start building your confidence that way. Okay, now, even with the smaller crowds or the bigger crowds, before you go to the event, ask yourself, what is my intention? What am I going to this event for? What are my expectations for this event? What are the outcomes I'm looking for by attending this event? Okay. Sometimes people just attend because they want to attend. I don't know. Maybe you just want to get out of the office, you want to just get out of your home office or just go for fun. There's nothing wrong with that. But have a specific goal in mind. What is your intention? What are you going to accomplish? Think about, for the most time, you're trying to build your network. Okay. For some people, they're just trying to build their network. Or it may just be looking for that one contact or two people that you want to network with. What is your intention? Is it to introduce your services? Is it to talk about your company? Or what is it? Why are you going to this event? So you have to make sure you narrow it down. Okay. Otherwise, you may feel lost just all over the place, not knowing what to do, what to say, who to meet. Okay. Once you've done that, once you've identified your goals, your intention, your expectations for the event, try to be strategic. Okay. Being strategic also involves setting your goals and intentions. But what I mean here is identify key individuals. Okay. You have to know why you're going there and who are the key individuals or the decision makers you need to target. Maybe target is a strong word that you need to identify to make sure that you get the results that you want from this event. Okay. So be strategic. Okay. Um, need to know them. You may not know who you want to meet at this event by name. You may not know them by name, but you may know their company or what they do. Okay. You may know their title. And then you do your homework. What do I mean by homework? So that's your third strategy. Do your homework. What I mean by homework is get to know these individuals or these companies or associations a little bit more. Find out something about them that you're going to use probably as your conversation starter. Okay. Um, Facebook or social media is a new way of getting to know more about individuals, about companies, about services, especially LinkedIn for professionals. All right. And for business owners as well. You can go on there and read up about those individuals that you're targeting at the event. All right. Get to know them, their interests, what they do at the company, or what type of businesses they have. You know, you learn a little bit more about them. You'll be able to approach them with a conversation starter about their interests, maybe, or their successes. Maybe they've had recent promotions that you can use. Okay. Now, you have your intentions or your expectations. You've done the strategy thing. You've identified who you want to talk to, right? You know a little bit more about them. Now you have to prepare your conversation starters. And I know, let me say, I believe this is where many of us get stuck. And Randy says it gives him the jitters, right? He becomes nervous um, because sometimes we just don't know what to say when we are in this networking group. You know, some are very professional. It's like a meeting, and then they have breakout sessions. Some it's a cocktail hour. Wherever you find yourself, what are you going to say initially to start the conversation? You know who you're targeting. You know a little bit about them. What are you going to say to start that conversation? And this is, I believe, one of the most nerve-wracking aspects of networking for many people. Some people have it naturally. You know, they say they have the gift of the gap, and they just know what to say. They just They are social butterflies, if I may say. They know how to mingle with any crowd. Wherever you put them, they just fine. But for many other people, it's a problem. So I'm going to give you some tips also on, what to say, what to avoid to help you with your conversation status. Okay. What are you going to say that will spark a conversation? All right. And get the other person talking. Okay. But before I go into that, um, let me share some things to avoid, some common mistakes that people make at networking events. All right. The very first one is they are not authentic. They're not trying to be themselves. So, not being authentic is a big no, no. Okay. Don't do that because whoever you're talking to, they will see it, they will feel it, they will know you're not authentic. They know you're putting a face or a front, and that's not a good way to start. Okay. They can read between the lines and know that you're not genuine. Okay. So networking is about building meaningful relationships. It's not just about gathering business cards, okay? Or I know nowadays we all have our, business cards, digital form in our cell phones. It's not just about that. It's not just about gathering um, contacts, all right? However you choose to gather them. It's about being sincere and hoping that the other person is giving you sincere information about themselves or about the services or company as well. So it's about building meaningful relationships. So show some genuine interest. Don't make comments that are going to be just flashy comments when you are not sincere about them. Okay. So another common mistake about networking is don't only network when the need arises. Okay, make it a habit. Find opportunities to network. All right, because by doing so, you become the master at it. Okay, make it a routine. Build and maintain your network. Um, I believe it's Warren Buffett who said, your network is your net worth." All right, that's a very profound statement. So the more people you have in your network, the greater the potential of your net worth is. All right. So make a habit of going to those networking events. If you're invited or somewhat free, get yourself involved. All right. Don't ask invasive personal questions. Don't ask invasive personal questions. I mean, that would just put off most people. All right. Don't make remarks that are negative or complaints. Maybe it's at a hotel. Don't complain about the venue, the event. Try to find something positive to share. Try to find something encouraging, right? Something uplifting, something inspiring to share with the other person. Okay. Um, don't be too pushy. I know sometimes people go to networking events, maybe they're looking for a job or they're looking for um, some contacts to promote their business or business idea. Don't be too pushy, because when you become too pushy, it will, the other person will realize that you're becoming too pushy and maybe too salesy, right? Don't use pushy sales pitches. All right, because remember, this is the first time or maybe second time you're meeting the individual. Okay, and don't try to dominate the conversation with this person. All right, and there's a common acronym, TMI, which is too much information. Don't overwhelm them with too much information about yourself, especially about yourself. Okay, um and don't make general statements that are from assumptions. So you're just assuming things you're not sure. Please try to avoid those. Okay. All right. So we know there are so many others, but just start with those for now. All right. So now that we know what to avoid, try to master your introduction, which is your conversation starter. Okay. You meet someone for the first time. What are you going to say? How are you going to introduce yourself? Okay. So I'm going to call this your conversation starter, and I'll give you some examples. So, for example, you could say, "Hi, I'm Joan," and you're looking at the person, eye contact, firm handshake, introducing yourself just with your first name. All right. Start with your first name. It's friendlier that way, I think. "Hi, I'm Joan," right? "What brings you to this event?" That's a simple, straightforward, unassuming question. Okay. You're not asking about their personal life. You're not asking, it's not nothing controversial about that. You just want to know what brings them to this event. And then from that, they could start telling you why they came to the event, and then you'll know a little bit more about what interests them, maybe their goals, their aspirations, and then you start putting pieces together to see if this is a good contact for you. All right. And remember, not everyone could be a good contact, but if you've done your homework, okay, you've done your homework, you know who you're going for, who um you're trying to identify to meet, okay, you know a little bit more about them, right? You get to learn even more when you ask a question like, what brings you to this event? Okay. All right. Now, you're not going to ask that to someone who is the organizer if that's who you need to meet, right? Because you know why they're there. Okay. And you may also say, is this your first time at this event? If it's your first time, you could start asking what they think about the event. If it's their second or third time, then you know they're really interested in what is being shared at the event, and they may learn some information. You may ask them now, oh, could you share some tips? Could you share some nuggets that you've gotten over the years or over the times that you've come to this event? Okay. Um, you could also ask, have you attended other interesting networking events that you could introduce me to or you could recommend? You know, those you're keeping it strictly to the event, strictly to the networking, right? Um, you could also say, I heard the keynote speaker talk about XYZ. What do you think about that? Or what are your thoughts about it? So now you're trying to get information about the specific topic that was discussed at the event. So those are just some simple, straightforward questions you could ask. You could also ask what they enjoy about their business, about their work, um, what's going on in their industry that they may like to share with you. You know, don't let me go back to this, to the don't. Don't ask controversial questions from controversial topics like politics, religion, maybe gender. There's a lot of controversy in those areas. Try to avoid those. Okay. All right. The next strategy is to listen attentively. Listen attentively. Many times people are so excited, and that's fine. It's good to be excited, to bring in that positive energy. Excellent. Okay. But it's not just about you. It's about the other person, what they bring to the table as well. So you need to master the art of listening, because when you listen, you're going to find moments when to plug in. You're going to find the nuggets that you need without excessively overpowering the other person about your achievements, who you are, what you do. So listen carefully. It's not just trying to impress the other person. Okay. So don't forget, it's very important to listen. All right. This will only make the other person feel like you value them, right? But you also make them want to share more. They may want to, they know that you listen attentively. They want to share more information about themselves or about their business. All right. So remember to listen attentively. The next strategy is to use social media. Nowadays, social media is prevalent. I mean, there are so many different platforms. We know them: Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and all this, TikTok, Instagram. They have platforms where you can Join, excuse me. Sorry about that. Where you can join groups. Okay, they have Facebook groups. You can join those groups and start, networking in those groups. If you are so shy of face-to-face networking, if that's too intimidating for you, leverage the power of social media. Okay, so you can meet other professionals, you can meet others in your industry, in your, interests, and start virtual networking. It's very powerful, very, very powerful today. Try to engage their content. So when you go to, again, even on the virtual platforms, when you go to the group, it's not just about you. Yes, share some value, but also comment, engage by commenting on other people's, posts, and comments, and start some dialogues. All right, and then share some nuggets, some value with the group as well. Okay. All right. Last but not the least, not follow up. Yes, you're going to follow up, but continue attending these networking events, because as I say, practice makes perfect. Okay. So, like with any skill, the more you exercise that skill, the more you put it into practice, the more comfortable you become. You become more comfortable. You've met maybe some people a couple of times, and you start building more friendships. Your network starts growing. Then you become more comfortable. Okay. It's not a done thing, one time and done thing. No. When you're connecting with people over time, you find yourself becoming a pro at it. And then those nerves, those jitters will start disappearing. Okay. And completely fade away. Right. So, Randy and everyone viewing today, I hope those have helped you. But now that you know what to do, now that you have the contacts, you have your database is growing, your network is growing, what do you do? Like I said earlier, it's not just about collecting those business cards or digital contacts. No. What do you do with them? You follow up. Make sure you follow up right away. Within 24 hours is ideal, because that contact is fresh in your mind. All right. And sometimes some people have mentioned to Paul and I, oh, I don't know how to remember this person. The online, you can go online and see so many strategies. There's one that I always try to remember. It's like Sassy Susan. Somebody introduce themselves to you, they're Susan, and they come across as very sassy. You can remember them as Sassy Susan. Susan. You're not going to email them and say Sassy Susan, though, but that's just one way to remember a name. Okay, like I said, they are replete on the internet, techniques to help you remember names from networking events. But how do you follow up? So follow up within 24 hours. If you met them on a social media platform, go right back into that platform. Try to DM them. That's direct message them. DM direct message, mentioning where you met them, and maybe a word or two from your conversation at the network, so you can, joggle their memory. um, if it was at a face-to-face meeting, send them an email, send them a WhatsApp, send them a text message, you know, or if you have their phone number, you can call and leave a short message. Again, just a follow-up message with their name, um, of course, reminding them how you met. It was great talking to you, or it was great meeting you at this event. It was great talking to you about, whatever the title or the topic of your conversation was. Um, and then just try to pave the way for future conversations. Okay. Hope we'll stay in touch. Something simple and brief to the point. Okay. So make sure that you reach out, leverage those contacts, leverage those names, take advantage of them. Okay. And make that connection last. All right. So networking again is not just about building the list, it's about building meaningful relationships. So be genuine, don't oversell yourself, no too much TMI, too much information. Um, Just keep it simple and be trustworthy. Just come across trustworthy, credible, and others will pick that up from you and they will want to connect with you as well. All right. So I hope, Randy, I hope you're listening or you're watching today. Hope these strategies and tips, things to avoid, are going to help you avoid those jitters, nerve jitters, when you hear about networking. And again, feel free to send in your own question. We may be taking yours next week. You can send them to support@premierdestiny.com, or you can go online to connect with us on social media. You could also go to our website, www.premierdestiny.com, go to our contact page and send in your question. All right. Not just from this topic, anything that you would like us to answer for you, feel free to send in your question and we'll take a stab at it. Okay. So until next time, life is great, life is fun. Make the best of it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today on this live Q&A session. I will see you next Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until now, take care. Bye-bye.